I'm Andrew Baldwin. I'm a sculptor. And the bit you've rung me up about was in a show at Trinity Buoy Wharf. And the name of the show was Sound and Silence. I think it was 3 years ago now. I'll just describe it first. It's a gear-driven pump, very crude, which pumps water up very slowly up to the top, and then every now and again the bucket tips, and you get the rushing sound of water. It's basically to imitate some of the noise around the docks. As I say, it's one of four, so when they all added up, to make the sound of the working docks there. A lot of people look at the stuff and think it's all made out of old pieces. Most of it's not. I fabricate all my own gears, make all my own gears and things like that. And I would have said 80% of that is new steel. And then things like the motor housing is an old, very old electric motor housing I've got hold of. I've gutted it and then put 12-volt system inside it. Then, other than the bearings and everything else, I've made it. Obviously, start off with the design. I generally design the stuff and then make it rather than make it and change it as it goes along. I think you never reach a conclusion if you do that. Sound was very important because that's what the show is about. And the sound of falling water, particularly because, and I like the fact that it doesn't happen very, very frequently. So people were willing to wait for it and try and guess when it was going to go. Whereas most of the other sculptures in that thing were working constantly. The noise was coming from those all the time. If you're doing boats, anything like that, you're always pumping them out. And the period when that was a busy dockyard, they would have been using weir pumps, which started and stopped. They weren't a constant flow. A bit like a piston pump, where they worked on the stroke of the piston, and on the upstroke of the piston they didn't. So it's that kind of noise I was after. But if you try and keep sound to a slow beat, it's something to do with the heart rate. If you keep it below the heartbeat, things become very relaxing, unless you're in a hurry, and then they drive you mad. So it's that slowness is great for a show, because people go into a show, they're normally quiet and relaxed. It's not so great if you're working there, because obviously it's stressful then. Certainly my work, all my work is noisy. It's certainly not the sound that people are aiming at nowadays. There is a lot of sound sculptures out there now, which are probably more refined, a lot more refined. But having said that, most of them are recordings more than self-making.